Well, we first envisioned this project as the oil spill was occurring when we were getting observations along the southwest Florida coast of unusual numbers of these large, normally offshore species, things like whale sharks, other large sharks in close to shore, reports of offshore species by fishermen like sailfish and wahoo. And it led us to hypothesize that maybe the oil, as it was spreading, was pushing these animals, displacing them from their normal habitat offshore and forcing them to come into inshore areas. So we're now going out to those offshore areas and first trying to see if there's any health effects in those species that are normally there. But in the long run, we're interested in whether this displacement effect is real, and if it is real, if it's going to go right through the ecosystem, cascade, we say, through the ecosystem, in terms of changing the balance of the different levels of nature in food webs in the Gulf of Mexico. If that's the case, for example, if the larger sharks have been pushed away for a period of time or eliminated because they've had contaminants affect their health, then we may see some perturbations in the Gulf ecosystem, which could potentially cascade down to even to levels of the fish that we like to eat and catch in fisheries. These large oceanic fishes, like sharks, they often sit at the top of the food web, and just like on land, those top predators exert influence all the way down to all the lower levels of fish and all the way down to plankton. We know from other places and other studies that when sharks have been removed from those systems, that the effects cascade down to the other levels. And for example, you take sharks out, the next level down no longer has natural predators on them, and they begin to overpopulate the area, causing the depletion of the level below them, and it goes all the way down to even habitats like coral reef habitats. In a place as big as the Gulf, it's very difficult to predict, what those kinds of effects will be. But when you move predators like sharks from where they should be to where they shouldn't be, both areas are affected. The science of ecology looks at these interconnections between animals and between whole species and populations of those species. And we're looking at the health effects on individual animals. Those are sort of the acute effects of something like an oil spill. But the bigger picture, the bigger effect is how do those acute effects become chronic effects on the ecosystem being not just one animal or even one species. It's the connections among species that make the whole system run.